Well, greetings again, everyone. It's Nick Michalak and the spectacular Steve Frazier.
Hey, hey!
And as we promised, we're continuing the Pet Sematary series here with the second film of the franchise. So if you got your own copy of the film, you can get your subtitles turned on and your timestamp over to 0. It will give you a countdown to sync up, so join us on the adventure and see where it goes. So in 3, 2, 1, play.
Pet Sematary series has a bad ring to it. Man, the first one is such a perfect film that it hurts my heart to say it's a series. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I remember liking this one a lot as a kid, renting it often.
I mean, this one definitely has its fan base. Obviously, by the new Scream Factory version, which we are not watching.
Right? Yeah, yeah. We're preceding it by just a little bit, I think. I don't think it's out yet.
Yeah.
I guess they're trying to have a little bit of a feel, much like the first one, but it already doesn't feel the same.
No. So in a lot of ways is slightly odd because we saw the same director here, but obviously not the same person writing the film.
Well, no.
I guess Stephen King actually had his name removed from the movie before it was released.
Well, yeah.
So that's his
normally,
prerogative.
Yeah, normally he doesn't really care that much, I guess. 3 casting directors. That's interesting.
That's odd. Never heard of Mark Governor before as a composer.
Yeah, I don't... Oof. Okay. Some, like, Bride of Frankenstein type.
Dracula's Brides or something.
Live rats, too. I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah, directed by Mary Lambert. I don't know.
It's good cinematographer, the Russell Carpenter. I think he shot Hard Target with Van Damme. He shot True Lies.
You did a commentary on Hard Target, yeah? Review. Not a. I thought maybe you did it with Trent.
He's worked with Cameron a couple times after True Lies. I think he shot Titanic.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Maybe. I'm pretty sure if he did, he won an Oscar for it.
Thought he did more than that with him. He shot Titanic.
The guy that did Pet Sematary 2 also shot Titanic.
He also shot Triple X: Return of Xander Cage.
Stop it.
Charlie's Angels, McG Films, and Critters 2, and The Lawnmower Man.
Like, one of these things is not like the other.
You take what's available.
Oh, God. Here's Eddie
Doesn't
Furlong.
mean they're not good-looking films.
Well, I suppose you're right. Eddie Furlong, back when he was a good-looking young man.
Oh yeah, I saw an interview clip from the new Blu-ray, and he's.
I just saw him at a convention last November, and he's about double the weight, and he's still a chain smoker, and he just looks so terrible.
Yeah, he's
so terrible. Like, you don't even recognize that it's him.
Yeah.
Castle of Terror is the name of this movie they're making.
Castle of Terror. Sounds like a full moon movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, like old Universal horror.
Yeah.
Whatever. It'd be so cool to like, well, not to fry, but to like go on a movie set and like watch your, parent or any family member really like make a movie. How great would that be? I remember even as a kid thinking, wouldn't there be some sort of something to prevent this from happening?
You'd think so. There'd be some kind of fail-safe.
That guy's just... People are just running away. Nobody's trying to help the poor woman. They're just running the opposite direction.
I mean, for me, not saying I hate the film, but the film has many problems for me.
Yeah, it does.
This first 5 minutes demonstrates that very well. It's like, we took, 2-3 minutes to get to know this mother before they kill her, and we're supposed to have empathy for everyone else in her life throughout the entire next 90 minutes of the film.
I don't know. I mean... I don't know if they really took time to have you get to know her.
Well, no, that's my point.
I mean, I don't think it matters.
We introduce the character, then 2 minutes later she's dead, and then the entire film falls on the crux of having an emotional connection to the characters going through what they're going through for a character we never...
Yeah, but I think...
They shortchange getting any kind of knowledge.
I think...
Especially when we're looking at the first film, where they took about half the film to establish all that stuff with the dynamics of the characters and relationship with the family.
I suppose, but I always kind of looked at it as the kid seeing his mom die in front of him was enough to drive that forward.
But as we'll get on...
What year did this come out?
92.
Okay, so he came right off of
T2
into PS2?
More or less, yeah. They were shooting this in January of that year.
And this is about 2 years or so before Anthony Edwards takes on the role of Dr. Mark Green on ER.
Here's the man.
Well...
It's fucking Clancy Brown, man. That's the fucking shit in this movie. He's almost the best shit in almost any film he's in. Almost.
Oh, you have an example where he is not the best?
He's in the remake of Elm Street.
And you're saying he's not the best part of that movie?
There is no best part of that movie.
Okay, you win. I still claim that the best part of that movie is the fact that they filmed it in my backyard. No. A section of it, but...
But Clancy's everything I've heard from him, he's the nicest guy possible.
Huh.
He's a great actor. The guy works so regularly, and he's so goddamn good. I used to do a fairly good Kurgan impression from him in Highlander.
Oh God!
Not as much anymore. I'm not gonna try it.
Yeah, don't embarrass yourself.
Let's not get up on that. But he's just, as we'll get on the film, he soaks himself into the movie.
Sure.
But
the close to Goodwill. This is... He looks good with the beard and the...
Yeah.
Don't you think that they would have had the Goodwill discussion prior to the boxes arriving at the...
One would think so. When you're actually packing things up, you would have that discussion.
Yeah. What is this doorbell? It's like on the inside?
It's peculiar. Extra wide door, too.
You look different than you sounded on the phone is code for you're hot and I want to bang you,
Well,
I think.
Slim pickings in town, then? I don't know. I mean...
Well, it's not a very big town.
He's not a terrible looking guy, but you...
Who does that?
Just dump it.
Well, no, not that.
Pick up
the piece, right? Yeah.
It's like, just help yourself to other people's crap.
Right. I mean, I think they've set up a decent dynamic here. That he's the young defensive kid, and
right, he's angry. You can see that.
And here's our town of Ludlow, Maine.
Yeah, apparently because this is shot in Georgia, and they were going to film it in Maine, but because they're going to be shooting in January, they're kind of afraid of the Maine winter.
Sure,
so,
as anybody would be.
So I mean, it looks comparable enough.
Yeah, I suppose. And he's just taking over for this?
I guess they're just moving into town, and he's setting up his
but he says
practice.
How long ago did this guy retire?
Yeah.
So he's taking over a pre-used office.
Right.
Which, I mean, I guess there's a parallel there to the first where,
right,
you know, Lewis is the new doctor in town.
Yeah.
And like, what a mess. You just left your place like this?
Yeah.
Office Depot?
Oh, cat scare.
Yeah. Typical. I mean, I guess we are in a pet movie, so wouldn't be.
Oh.
Now those are cute. I do love kitties. That's a good trade, I think. You have to have two, though. Like I've always maintained, you can't just have one cat. You got to have a cat for the cat to play with.
Yeah.
And siblings are always better if possible. So, what are there, 4 there? That's 2 for me and 2 for somebody else. There you go. Cute kitties. God, this movie's 28 years old already.
Oh.
Oof. Puppy dog. Zowie.
It's not a good
It's
name.
not a good name. It's
I don't
not.
know where you come up with that name.
He really does play a good heel, doesn't he?
Who? What?
Clancy Brown, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. He's got that nice sort of like, I'm the guy in control around here. You play by my rules around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got that nice stern authority thing.
And he's got a fur collar on his sheriff's jacket, so that makes him a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Woof. No dogs were hurt in the making of this movie. Aww. I mean, at this point, we still don't really have
a trajectory in the story.
Yeah. We don't. There's not. We're still kind of introducing people.
Right.
We've introduced just as many animal characters as we have human characters. Yeah. I was going to say something about the lack of Maine accents, but old Clancy here is putting one on, so...
He's got a little something, yeah.
Here we got our rockin' soundtrack here. Right. Bunch of teen angst here at this high school.
On the left is definitely 90s.
Yeah, all of this is so... He's channeling his inner Jason Hervey.
Oh, yeah. They hang their coats up somewhere.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That's a great point, Nick. I mean, look at this.
There's no heat in this place.
Half of them are still wearing their coats. And a scarf, for Christ's sake.
The furnace must be broke or something.
And why does this school remember this actress? Because they are now educating the late actress's child?
I don't know. Kid just moved here.
Right. Like from California, I would assume, right?
Most likely, possibly.
And why was the dad in Maine?
I don't know. Again, things went up a little too quick at the beginning of the film. We didn't need a little breathing room to establish a few things, is all I'm saying.
I mean, a line of dialogue or two would have been nice. Mm-hmm. Just to set up where they were, why they were, where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the first movie, they roll into town.
Right.
Brand new house. So you establish that everything is new.
Yeah.
You have the curious kid of what's down the path.
Right.
You have old man who says, "Let me tell you the folklore."
Yeah.
You've set up stuff.
A logical, organic progression of a series of events.
Right. Here, we've got dad moves. Well, kid maybe moves across country. We don't know. Coast to coast. Dad opens brand new vet
clinic. Yeah.
And everybody suddenly hates the kid because he's...
For reasons.
And here we're trying to make this look like the Creed house, even though it doesn't.
It's a good 1,500 miles away.
I mean...
So yeah...
would it still be the Creed house? Aren't they all dead?
They're all...
I mean, the only one that's left is Ellie, and she's in Chicago.
Well... I guess... As I mentioned in the first film, there was the idea, well, she's still alive, and you said don't say anything because they'll give someone a sequel idea. Mary Lambert's original idea for this film was to follow Ellie Creed.
Okay.
As a survivor, but the studio didn't want a female teenage heroine in the film for whatever stupid reason. Despite the fact we just had an entire decade full of teenage heroines in horror films.
Mary Lambert is clearly the only one who has any sense
to
follow logic and reasoning.
Yes.
Because that is 100 times better of an idea than this. They're fighting over a cat?
Yes.
Okay. Just so we're clear.
All right.
And nobody's ever punched this bully in the face before? Okay. I still don't get why it's the Creed house.
Right.
You're just gonna leave your friend? That path looks much more defined.
Yeah, it's much more manufactured.
Probably because it's in Georgia.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, to Stephen King's credit, what isn't there to be to Stephen King's credit?
That should be clear in the first film.
But, he wanted it to be filmed there so that you had the vibe of the story. And just the little nuance of filming this in Georgia takes away from
that's not the same entrance there was in the first film.
It's similar, but it's not.
No.
I mean, it's much less manicured.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear to be concentric circles anymore.
No.
I imagine that there's a bunch of little Easter eggs here of... Maybe not. I thought maybe there'd be like a shout out to something from that we would recognize.
Yeah.
Good makeup on him with the dirt and the tear marks and the... Nothing ever really... Oh, I was going to say nothing came of Church, but Lewis did end up killing Church at the end.
He injected him. Same as Gage.
Yeah. What do they call that shot? There's a name for it.
Like retrograde zoom or something like that. Something along those lines.
Was it Hitchcock that invented that?
It's attributed to him, yeah.
Okay. Where the camera pulls back as it's zooming.
All right, let me see if I can find something.
I mean, it's a cool gimmick. I thought that Hitchcock invented that, but I could be wrong. By the way, Clancy Brown's character is Gus. That's a great character name, Gus. Old ghost story. Again, it's a small town. It's happening in the same town.
Yes.
Wouldn't this have been news? Like, you can only hold these kinds of secrets for so long.
Yeah.
And then an entire family goes through it, and you're like... Surely,
the entire family and their neighbor across the road has his place burned to crisp.
I feel like what's funny is they could have, if they shot this in Maine, they could have shown the ranch house across the street and just claimed that somebody else rebuilt a new house in place of the old one after it burned down. I don't know. I feel like somebody would. Like, it's not just an old ghost story at this point. Especially since later on, they reference the Creed family tragedy.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
So. And why would he take the cat to school? I mean,
yeah,
really.
I don't understand that.
I mean, the kid does make a good point.
Right.
The lady is not his mother.
All right.
He's not wrong.
Right.
Oh, Oh, Gus.
Oh, boy.
Zowie. I don't know where they came up with this shit.
Jeez.
I also don't buy that this lady sired that little chubby boy. I just don't buy it. There's a good example of not needing dialogue to show what kind of a character he is.
Oh, yeah.
Actions speak louder than words. Case in point.
Yeah.
This is kind of similar to a situation I grew up in.
Okay.
Not one in which dead animals come back to life and people come back to life. Just the old single mom with rulesy spouse that wasn't my dad. I really do enjoy a Maine accent, though.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Kid's got spunk. I like it. Are those praying hand salt and pepper shakers on the table? Is that what those are?
Oh, jeez.
Some ocean spray, cranberry juice. Oh, great line.
Oh. Well, you're just expecting Clancy to whip out the leather belt.
I'm telling you. Whoop that kid's ass.
Oof. Like I said, he's so good, man. He's just intimidating enough.
Yeah, he's right there on the line.
Doesn't have to push it too hard, man.
I mean, as the audience member, you're already afraid of him.
Yeah.
By the way, we still don't really have a story here.
Anywhere it's going.
Yeah. We're just kind of watching day in the life of these people.
Right.
There's no instigating incident. There's no objective, really, as we talk about.
Right.
So technically, I don't even know if we've gotten out of Act 1 yet, because there's no objective.
Right, exactly.
And
good half hour.
We're
close.
Right, so we are overdue, because I think the general rule is 20 minutes or fewer, right? Before you got to move on with the story.
Right. Oh,
poor pup. And I don't think they needed to take a half hour to get this far where he does something bad to the dog, you know?
Right.
I mean, I don't even know if we needed that whole scene, that whole last scene, or I feel the stuff could have been trimmed already.
Right. I mean, yeah, pacing itself, because I mean, we got the first couple of scenes that are setting things up in a kind of a rapid succession. The mother dies, then you get the move, then you get the stuff with the bullies, stuff like that. Then we set up Edward Furlong's story. Now we're switching over. Now we're going to set up the other kid's story, and then we're going to probably find out where all the stuff's going to go towards. So. Almost it feels like you need to kind of collapse a few plot elements into fewer characters at this point to get it moving to where you want it to go.
Right, or also, I feel like they did kind of jump Gus a little bit. Like, he went from being intimidating to overboard. Like, he just shot the dog.
Right.
Like, he shot the dog.
Again, the pacing is
like
showing issues.
You understand that he's a grade A dick.
Yeah.
But he literally shot the dog.
Right.
For...
There wasn't enough setup for it to have a payoff.
Right. Like...
I mean, there's a few little things where there's a little bit about the dog being in the house or something like that, but...
Still.
It's not strong enough.
It's not one logical leap.
He hasn't been overbearing enough about it. We haven't got the moment where he kind of leaned into it really hard to get upset.
And speaking of upset, this poor kid just had to let his dog die in his lap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how terrible is that? He's got blood all over him? Jesus Christ.
Some of the pacing issues, because we get deeper in the film and it becomes much more apparent that I feel like a lot of the emotional motivations of the film are not very convincing for me.
The emotional ones, you said?
The emotional motivations of... The emotional reasons behind certain people's motivations in the film they're not as convincing as the first film obviously were, because I don't think there's as much thematic element with the film. It's not as much of a problem now. We'll get there later, but since we're kind of dabbling in the pacing and how that's kind of affecting where the film is trying to pay off things, I'll touch on that later.
Now, I feel like we've swung the other way on this whole thing, because if this little fat kid knows about the Indian burial ground, doesn't the whole town know about the Indian burial? Like,
yeah, right.
Like, how does he know?
How does anyone just not know?
Right.
And if everyone knows,
then why is it a story? Yeah. It's like,
if everyone knows, then there's no secret. So that means, why doesn't this happen like every damn week?
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
Why does the story not just happen all the time? Why does not every kid go here, have their pet resurrected, wreaks havoc on your life, and
take
things
the chance.
go off the deep end?
Right. You gamble with the idea.
Right. I mean, it just...
And I always felt like, even in the first movie, that it was like such a ridiculously long journey.
Yeah.
From one place to the next.
Right.
He's just carrying that thing like it weighs nothing.
Yeah.
By the way.
Like a rug or something.
Like that dog's got to weigh, what, 60 or 70 pounds?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Yeah.
There's rules? You know all the rules?
Despite the fact that he's never done it before.
Right.
He doesn't have any friends.
You're 14.
He's never done it before. He has no friends in town. Who told him all this stuff?
Which then goes back to my theory that it's just town knowledge, because once it happens, everybody would know about it.
They got a pamphlet down at the library.
There you go. Rules to burying in the Indian burial ground.
Rule number 1, don't do it.
It's like Fight Club. Nobody is allowed to talk about burying in the Indian burial ground. Everybody pretends that it doesn't exist. I can see why Eddie Furlong was on a trajectory to be a huge star.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a great look. He's a great actor, at least at this age.
Yeah.
Just kind of sad how...
Yeah, substance stuff, drugs, all that. Just... I don't know. get in with the wrong people. You don't have the right people on the other end. They kind of counsel you away from it.
It's funny because I was going to say, now it didn't look like this in the first one, with a
not
depiction of a person.
No.
I mean, I guess the overall landscape looks kind of the same, but the actual imagery.
Yeah. Just something about it just seems a little too clean.
Yeah. What I was going to say is...
too meticulous.
Eddie Furlong now looks more like this kid.
Yeah.
Then again, I guess he's now in his 40s, and he doesn't... I don't know. He doesn't look the same at all.
No.
Poor guy.
And this kid apparently had almost no acting credits before this film. He did like a couple of school plays. That was it.
I don't think he did much after either.
No, he's got 2 other credits after this. That was it.
In and out.
Yeah. He was. Yeah. I don't. What I was reading is like basically he was very shy and timid doing the film.
He looks it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he friended up with Furlong, and Furlong helped him a little bit going forward, but...
Like after this?
Well, just throughout the production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now we finally have something.
Yeah.
At 36 minutes in. Something has been buried and has come back to life.
All right.
And again, like in the original film, it was such a folklore,
right?
And Judd had such inner turmoil,
right,
about like should I or should I not, even go down that road, so to speak,
right?
That alone kind of created its own storyline,
right.
And here, it's just...
very surface on this film.
Yeah.
Very surface level engagement with those ideas. With the general... very surface level engagement with just the general plot. It's not...
cerebral in any way.
Right, it's not cerebral. There's not dealing with that aspect of it.
Yeah, there's no depth. There's no underlying tone.
Right.
It's A, B, C, D...
There's almost like no discussion of philosophy of death or anything like that made the first film, such a substantive exploration.
I also don't like the fact that they're treating it as if he wasn't dead. You know what I mean? Like, they're mad at him for lying, saying he buried it, as opposed to... At this point, they could have been like...
No one's freaked out.
Oh my God, I killed this dog, and now it's back to life. What's happening?
Right.
That furthers the plot.
We're almost foregoing any sense of horror in the revelation of it.
Right. Like...
They're almost relying on the audience of foreknowledge of the previous film to know what's coming up. They're not having this film as a standalone set up the situation, set up the ominous, dreadful sense of things.
Right. What happens when you get buried and you come back?
Right.
You're evil.
Right.
Well, that's not the case so far.
Yeah.
I mean, where's the story?
Right.
$10 for a rabbit in 92? Is that good or bad? I can't decide.
I don't know.
Like, these two know.
Yeah.
But again, there's no
tension about it.
Right, and there's also no repercussions.
Right.
Nothing bad has happened as a result of it.
There's nothing to psychologically grapple with to have a ramification of what you've done, to have any type of wherewithal about it.
Even the kid's not even emotionally reacting to the fact that his dead dog has come back to life.
Yeah.
he wasn't even surprised. It was
Right.
like, oh, there's my dog.
Right.
After the previous scene when they were burying him, he says, if there's a 1 in a million shot, I'll take the chance. Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't even as excited.
Right. Which again, I mean, it might come down to the fact that the actor himself wasn't very experienced and wasn't very comfortable doing the production, so...
Yeah, but then that would fall on Mary Lambert to say, here's...
Indeed. Or the 3 different casting directors you had involved.
Right. Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, so far, the best acting in the entire movie has been this dog. I mean, he threw him up on the table, and the dog just laid down.
Yeah, yeah.
Dogs are so smart.
Yeah.
I wonder how many dogs they used.
I don't know. There's nothing in the trivia about it. Yeah.
I like that. That was good. Like that's a much more natural thing to happen.
Yeah.
The splatter. It even got on some on the lens. I don't know if you saw that. There was 1 or 2 bottom left corner there. I always like when that happens. So, it's like he knows the secret, but he's not even sharing it. But he shared the experience. So he shared the experience, but not the secret behind it.
Yeah, it's.
And why isn't the vet, Dr. Green there? Why isn't he like, this dog doesn't have a heartbeat? Like, why isn't this cause for?
Why is there no more urgency or panic in the situation?
I forgot about those leaf bags in the shape of a pumpkin. Those were real big around this time.
Yeah.
I forget if Ludlow is actually a real town. I feel like it might be.
Hmm.
And I don't think they actually said the name of the town in the first movie. I think that they used...
Yeah, I don't know. It was on a water tower early on in this when they were riding around the town.
Right. Good makeup on him. Like, it's a nice little costume.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that this one's in a...
Lecter outfit, maybe?
No, I think it's a hockey mask. It's supposed to be...
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, he's straight up Jason. They didn't dwell on it long enough to...
Yeah.
So they don't have to pay copyright law or something.
Yeah.
Although this was a Paramount, right?
It's Paramount 92, so...
And at that
Jason
point...
goes to hell, comes out next year. So they didn't...
So was New Line in charge? I don't know when the sale happened.
Cunningham should have the rights at this point.
Okay. I just didn't know if they'd have to worry
about... What kind of
about...
outfit is this with the fucking pantyhose over the face? Come on.
I mean, that just kind of makes you anonymous, right? Like an Invisible Man kind of situation.
Yeah.
Or a
You look like a
robber.
You look like a creeper.
What is this thing? The guy in the blue coat and the mask back there. That was weird. I do like a Wagoneer.
Kennebago County.
I don't know if that's a real place. Yes.
Oh, it was right next to the door. The little keys thing. We have that.
You have that same one?
We have the exact same one.
The store that I work for sells a similar sized item. Mm-hmm. Exact same idea, just slightly different design. And it's been a bestseller for years and years. But that particular one, I feel like I feel like one of the houses I've lived in over the years also had one just like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying the house we're in right now has that
Yes.
in it? Tremendous. It's funny, if you asked me how to... We're reading the subtitles. If you asked me how to spell cemetery, I'd probably spell it wrong because I'm so used to spelling it the wrong way.
It seems so weird after how I've been typing it that way.
Right, for months now.
Commentaries lately. There we go.
Who is he? Who is this story?
Ellie Creed. He's saying, there's a story.
No
Ellie
way.
Creed hacked up her grandparents or something.
No. Stop it.
It's a crock of shit.
She escaped the mental ward? That is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's just hyperbole for this character. Trying to scare everyone. Oh boy.
Gus. Fucking Gus. Why would you...
Because he's a dick.
He is a dick. I mean... You're gonna punch a child? I mean, I like that they did it on film, as we have discussed before. But man, that really makes him a dickbag, doesn't it? And now, Zowie, the zombie dog,
who's done nothing out of character up to this point.
I mean, even now, this is not out of character.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's nice makeup.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite look like the same dog.
No, no.
Same shape, basic shape, but
I
not...
mean, maybe they're just trying to make it look more dirty because of whatever.
Yeah,
but
the coloring looks definitely different.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, at this point, I feel like you could roll credits, you know?
Yeah.
Not to say that it would be a good movie, but But, like, the whole point from the kid's point of view is that this guy has been nothing but a bastard.
Or a nightmare for him.
And he doesn't want him with his mom.
Right.
So why not just say, oh, he's dead?
Yeah.
Let him be dead and gone.
It's not the kid's fault it happened. The dog attacked him.
Right. I mean, all of your problems are solved right now.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
Right.
Why are we even bothering moving on with the story?
Right.
They did such a good job of presenting him as a problem.
Yes.
That now, when the problem is solved, instead of saying, I'll take my resolution, we'll just create more problems.
Right. And now at this point, Furlong's character basically he's not even the main character now.
No.
He doesn't have a story here. It's all the other kids' story.
He really doesn't have a story here.
Right. It's not until the back end of the film, the far end of the film, where he goes and tries to resurrect the mother, that he has anything to deal with.
Now, if he had said, oh shit, it worked with the dog, let's go get my mom.
Right.
That might have made more sense.
Right. Right. If the thread through we were following is like, okay, it worked with the dog, then he starts...
The wheels are turning,
everything starts moving around in his head and everything, and he starts to build up this belief in everything, that would be something. And have a little conflict between him and Anthony Edwards, right?
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards' character. That'd have something, because there's
nothing for him to do
There's
either.
still no conflict in the story. No one's clashing between one another now.
All the conflict just got resolved right now.
Yeah.
And what are they doing?
Gus is dead. There's no conflict for anyone in the story
Gus
now.
was all the conflict.
Yes.
For everyone.
Right.
And like, okay, we're 50 minutes in.
We're halfway through. This is the halfway point of the movie.
This is the midpoint.
Gus's death is the halfway point.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, from a storytelling point of view. But... And by that I mean it's a pivot point.
Yes.
You know, it's a tent pole that you can change the story around.
Yeah, it's the largest piece of drama we've had yet. But as you said, it's kind of dissipated everything that we had before it. So where are we going?
Yeah, what are we doing here? It's like a circle jerk again.
Right.
That was a dream?
Hmm.
I do love his little kitty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really the only reason that he would have to bring Gus back is because he loves his mom and doesn't, you know...
Or,
like he thinks it's going to be worse if he tells the truth or something.
Or if he's worried about some kind of ramifications to him.
Right.
But even then, again, it's the dog who did it.
In the long run, all the problems are over.
Right.
And based on the rules that were set up from the first movie,
right,
I think that this post-burial Gus is far more intelligent and able to make decisions and
it's almost played like a Return of the Living Dead situation.
Right. As a, you know...
It's played a little bit more... even Clancy's performance, it's played up. It's chewing the scenery as it goes along. So it's much more funny than it is scary.
Like, old Timmy Baterman wouldn't have come home...
was lurching around.
He wouldn't have come home and known to, like, brush his teeth and clean his wounds and pretend like nothing... You know, taunt the kid with the keys.
Right. Yeah, there's not enough psychological wherewithal.
No, he's dead.
Yeah. Working off a base instinct.
So we've already changed the rules from the first one. But yet we're relying on the audience's knowledge of the rules to drive this one.
Right.
But then we're going to change them when we want to.
Right.
Not the greatest scenario.
No.
Another Lou Graham reference, Cold as Ice. Oh yeah, zombie rape. Everyone's favorite genre.
Is the rigor mortis spread to his the regions yet?
Yeah, I mean, hey,
just, you know,
when you're stiff, you're stiff.
Yes. Oh, Lordy.
I mean, here again.
Right.
Like, at this point, what are our problems? What are the problems?
What are our problems, or what's the film? What are the problems of the characters in the film?
Great question.
Specifications.
What are their problems? The dog isn't acting bad.
No.
Gus is the same Gus, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, because in the first film, when Gage comes back, he's immediately a murderous, intent creature.
Now, if this scene were to have happened 20 minutes ago, look at those jackets. How 90s are those? You know, this whole doctor learning that the dog was dead or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Hello. You know, like, had this happened earlier, he could have then been like trying to go after the dog.
Yeah, a certain urgency about the story.
Right.
A fear building up somewhere.
Right, like, we need to get this dog back. What is it doing?
Right.
I mean, he just
ripped the thing apart.
He just realized now that he was out? Oh, the kitties. Like, Zowie broke out last night and killed Gus. Yeah. Zowie didn't just break out now.
Yeah,
How did he not know that Zowie wasn't, like, when you come in the morning and
you
for your
just
shift?
Check everything.
Yeah, you just don't go back
make
there.
Make sure that they're okay.
And feed them.
Oh, boy.
I feel like that guy's been in other stuff. See, here is where this all should have happened yesterday.
Right.
You're not leading with Zowie's gone and he's murdered all the cats?
Right.
You're leading with test results? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the fault lies in regards to the portrayal of Edward's character, but it just feels... He just kind of feels kind of...
Anthony Edwards? Or
yeah,
Edward
Anthony Edwards. Don't want to say he's like uninvested, but it just feels like the character just doesn't have, again, a reaction to certain situations. It feels very... Again, a little bit of that, how I said earlier, that certain things just feel unconvincing.
Yeah, it's kind of shallow.
It's very shallow. They're just like... a character's reaction to a certain situation is not at the level it should be for something you'd feel that he's not reacting to the levels of what you'd expect him to react to,
right, and
considering the situation.
We've had this problem in other movies where, say, a best friend dies or a parent dies, and then the characters just keep going on with their lives.
Right. Yeah, Edwards almost has this constant look like, I don't really know what's going on here.
I'm new here.
I'm just kind of waiting for something to explain itself before I have a reaction about what's going on. It's very odd.
And I feel like this could have been the first time that we've mentioned the first movie, and
that'd be nice.
It would have been okay.
Yeah.
But now we've mentioned it 3 or 4 times already.
The more we talk about it, the more it's like the film has a lot of these things. Almost like every 5 minutes, it has to reference something from the first movie.
Almost out of almost like sequel guilt or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we have to make sure the audience knows that it's related.
Yeah.
Why doesn't this guy have a Maine accent?
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
Fucking hell. What was the point of that scene?
I don't know. Just to...
Yell at the guy?
Basically, it was to tell Anthony Edwards about the events of the first movie.
What does that have a bearing?
Oh! Come on! And they're just gonna sit there and watch?
It's like Leonardo DiCaprio here. Eating a bison liver or something. Clancy's working on an Oscar here.
Oh, I mean, that looks delicious. I mean, I don't know what you're thinking, but this is a horror movie, and horror movies don't get considered for Oscars.
Wow.
No matter how good the performances are.
I can't fault him for trying.
Oh, not the lima beans!
God
damn it, Gus! I do like lima beans.
Shouldn't he reek right now?
Well, he hasn't been embalmed.
I'm just saying, he doesn't look like he smells very good right now.
That kid loves a plaid, doesn't he? He's only been in plaid shirts. At no point has anybody said, "Hey Gus, why is your neck bleeding?"
Yeah.
That hasn't been a conversation yet.
No.
Here he's got a little bit more Neanderthal to him.
Yeah.
Like he shows scenes of it.
There we go. Just, I don't know.
Why are you protecting him? Is what I want to know. You kid him, Gus.
Right.
What is it, Drew? Is that his name?
Drew. So is that the wife, the mother?
Yeah, that's the...
Again, I saw her for 2 minutes about an hour ago. I don't recall.
Yeah, that's her. Those are cool bookends with the dogs. I like that. And what are you doing? Your kid's not even home, and you're
locking it
making
up.
it sure that he can't get in. And now you've got a gun?
Uh-huh.
Is this a dream? What's happening?
It's an Argento movie now.
You're right. The all of the story with the dead mom / ex-wife.
It's been gone for like the last 50 minutes.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's going to come back with a bang.
Yeah.
And there's the whole garbage with the babysitter.
Yeah.
And you're like...
It's very spread out. That's the problem. I mean, again, you can fix some of these issues if you have thematic stuff kind of weaving between all the stories, but there isn't any.
Yeah, I don't...
The dog head thing,
I mean, he's going to wake up and the dog will actually be there. So I get that. That's a kind of a dream thing.
Nice that they changed the lighting to let you know that it's not the dream now, if it isn't the dream.
Yeah, good point.
Or is it the dream? I don't know. Does he normally have...
Johnny Depp's got to be out the window right there.
Oh,
and now see, because he jumped out the window, he's fine.
Yeah.
Had Anthony Edwards thrown him out the window,
yes,
he would have been dead.
Yes.
Wait, he's already dead.
What's this neon blue light he has in his room? He just has that there? Like a black light or something going on?
Kind of like Kramer with that chicken place across the...
Goddamn Kenny Rogers, man.
Kenny Rogers Roasters.
I'm kidding. Come back, Kenny. Rogers makes a fine bird.
Darn right. And again, like, okay, where we're sitting now at 106, what is their...
keep checking the time on this movie.
What is their story right now, these two?
Fuck all do I know. They're sitting around doing nothing.
They have no objective.
They're doing nothing in the movie.
Which one is our main character? Is Gus the main character? Because he's had more integral story.
The dog's the main character now.
The dog might be the main character. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why did I like this as a kid? Maybe just because I liked the first one so much that...
You just want a little something extra.
Yeah, I just...
Just a taste of something.
He's got a little moped there, is that...
Huh.
Oh.
Now why? Come on. What's up?
What
the hell is this?
Where'd you learn how to ride a bike?
Could you not do a second take on that? Come on.
I mean... I get that he's supposed to be like a bumbling idiot, but come on.
Come on. Enough's enough.
I mean, and why do we have this bully situation? Just because there's always a bully?
Because... It's their attempt to make it seem like a Stephen King story.
That could be.
Because
that could be.
He's got a fixation on that. Here and there.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's always about, kids.
Yeah.
Not always, but
fairly.
It's often about youngsters, banding together to overcome an evil.
Yeah.
Haven't we learned from previous films that wearing a scarf around motorcycles is probably a bad idea?
Yes.
What is the point of a bully in this scenario?
I don't know. Excuse to have a scene.
Is it jealousy that his mom was famous? And again, why is Gus all of a sudden...
Now Mr. Hero?
Like a hero. He spent the first half of this movie being hated by both the characters and the audience.
Yeah.
And now you're happy that he's there because he just saved the character you like.
Yeah.
Yay, go Gus?
I don't...
Why am I happy with Gus right now?
I don't know.
Like, the audience is now excited to see Gus.
It's weird.
It's weird. I mean, this is fun. Like, you want to see the bully get his, right?
Right. But has he done anything so bad that you want to see him murdered? I don't know.
Well, I don't care about that. That's fine. I mean, I guess so far this is the first damage that Zombie Gus has done.
Yeah.
Like, according to the rules of, 1, you come back from the dead and you're instantly a murderer.
Yeah.
I like that. So why wouldn't he have come back and, like, tried to kill the wife or this kid? Or, again, he's picking and choosing. And
right.
There's your keys plaque.
Yes.
Right there.
Right up close. Yeah. I mean, Clancy's entertaining. I mean, whatever direction they're telling him to go in, he's going for it fully.
Yeah.
And he's very good at it.
He's into it.
But as a consistency from the second film, tone-wise, approach-wise, idea-wise, it doesn't link up. Because he's much more of a goofy character now.
Yeah, he's just so much more coherent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's great.
Yeah.
It's just something is amiss. Oh, there's multiple keys plaques here in this house.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of intense and scary, right?
Yeah.
But the dog's now after him?
Right. That is not following any internal logic.
That was good shot.
Yeah.
The jump. Like, how do you train a dog to do that?
Ooh, I don't know.
Like, that's so cool. It'd be so neat to, like, work with dogs on a movie.
Yeah.
The old Jack Nicholson through the door there.
Maybe not as played out as it was. Maybe not as played out as it is now. But yeah, no.
I don't even know if that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
But
you pointed that, I was like, okay.
It's a Stephen King reference.
Not as much probably when it was released, but looking back at it now, it's excruciatingly played out.
Yeah, it's overdone. Granted, The Shining is 40 years old now. Right. The movie.
Right.
Are you a fan of The Shining?
I watched it once. I didn't care for it.
Okay.
I'm just not a Kubrick type
I'm
of
not
guy.
either. It's well, we don't need to get into the merits of The Shining.
Yeah.
I just felt like that was a Jack Nicholson homage.
Yeah.
He is tremendous.
Yeah.
Mom, look. That's just not a good line.
No.
They both have like a Woody car. Why is nobody hitting a brake right now?
I don't know.
Like, if I were this woman...
It seems like the logical thing to do.
With my child in the car? You don't think that she would have hit the brake a long time ago?
Oh, there you go.
I mean, this is a spectacular effect.
Yeah.
Well, it's a potato truck. I see. I mean, that's a great stunt.
Yeah.
Great stunt. But doesn't make any sense to me. That's a great shot.
Yeah. And again, it's tapping on. It's like, okay, can't figure out who the main character we're really kind of focusing in on is. So they just killed Drew and his mother. So now they're not anyone that we're following. So now we're following the guy. He just doesn't feel like the film can make up his mind of what it wants to do with all this stuff. So a few minutes ago, we are kind of rooting for Gus as someone's going to save the day for...
Who is this?
Furlong's character.
Who's Clyde?
The
kid.
That's the bully.
So he killed him in order to resurrect him?
He's not... we're not.
He said he was going to take him up the hill.
I don't know. I'm on different stuff right now. So a few minutes ago, we're kind of rooting, as you're saying, it's almost presented like we're rooting for Gus to save day for Edward Furlong's character, but then he turns around and goes and kills Drew and the mother. So,
but he didn't do that at the dinner table when he first came back.
So who are we behind in the story? Because Furlong hasn't been around since he just got saved, so he hasn't been around in like the last 5 minutes when the entire story just took different complexions.
I'm so confused.
Right.
And I'm only confused because they haven't told us what path to go down.
Right. And now I think here we're going to start getting that. Now Furlong's character is now going to be obsessed with bringing back the mother.
So,
which also now brings up the question when you're talking about where did they move from? Clearly not very far if he's able to go to where the heck she's buried and throw her in the pet cemetery burial ground and resurrect her, so she's probably down the road. Where they
did they
next door or
fly
something?
her body to Maine to
That's
be buried?
what I'm questioning. Because we got the funeral scene, then we got the scene where they moved. So where did they move from? They go to this new town.
And where is the
with
body?
A new life.
Right. So I could understand him up here obsessed with the mom's stuff.
Right.
Like...
But now he's clearly saying that.
And this scene should have happened again
half an hour
ago.
Right.
So we're like 20 minutes behind every step.
Right, because we keep switching between, okay, we're going to deal with this plot for the next 20 minutes, then we're going to switch over, we're going to deal with this other plot for the next 20 minutes. So it's like, there's not a balance anywhere in terms of, the film keeps changing its mind and keeps distracting itself for too long. It's not keeping everything moving forward at the same time.
And there's just not a feeling of dread or horror or urgency or guilt, or there's no theme.
Right, again, my whole thing earlier saying emotional motivations just don't feel very convincing to me.
I think they're non-existent.
They're non-existing.
It's not even that they're not convincing.
How they can convince me that where Furlong's character has gone to at this point in time, the character of Jeff, keeps going towards, we haven't seen anything up to this point to drive him towards where he is now in the story.
If anything, it should have been after the dog came back at the half-hour mark.
Right.
He would have said, like, hey, let's go get Mom.
Right.
So she had to have been buried here.
Right.
See, and here's another reference.
Yeah,
just stop.
Just stop it. It almost feels like you're embarrassing yourself at this point. We have to keep referencing the first film over and over and over again, just to like remind people, I remember how good the first film was.
All it's doing is spotlighting
make us seem. It almost feels like their intention is, let's make us seem so as good as the first one by keep referencing it. So you're like, oh yeah, this thing's just as good as that thing. It's like, no, it's not.
All it's doing is putting a spotlight on
remember how good the other one was.
How bad this one is relatively.
Yes.
They've done a disservice to themselves.
Right.
I think one little nod.
One moment. Or one little thing. That's all.
Right.
That's the most you need.
Lambert's idea of having Ellie Creed be the main character, that sounds like a way better idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
what the overall plot she had in mind, I don't know. That was just the inkling of an idea.
I'm not saying that you can't have a. Oh my God! I'm not saying you can't have.
This is so much a soundstage.
Now he's helping. He went and dug up the body of the mom. Right? It was his order.
For crying out! What the fuck is this?
I have no idea what's going on.
I'm confused. Is that our dream sequence?
Not to say, going back to my previous thought, that you can't have a story of some other people moved to town,
right?
And now, they learn the secret, or it could even be that the whole town knows about it and is trying to keep that secret from the new people.
Right.
Yeah, that's such a stage.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Really, really bad.
There are plenty of ways that you could go, but you're missing that original tone and dread and fear.
Yeah, which is what I mentioned in the commentary for the first one. Is like, how many ways can you go back and just deal with the exact same themes and subject matter again?
You can't.
And have them go through the same basic beats. Because if you don't have someone die that you care about and you drag them off to have them resurrected and go through the same basic ideas, you don't have the story. You can't do a Pet Sematary film if you're not doing those, because then it just doesn't involve the Pet Sematary.
Right. I mean, the first one worked so well because of that natural progression.
Right.
From, townie...
naivete, innocence type of thing.
Right, and I don't want to disappoint my little girl.
Right.
To, I need to get back everything I've lost in life.
Right.
And none of that is here.
Right.
I mean, the kid wasn't even that upset when his dog died. Let alone,
He cried a little bit, but I mean, it didn't seem like it was a devastating situation.
I mean, it hurt my heart more than it seemed to hurt that kid as an audience member.
Right. And again, Furlong's character, he's upset for maybe the first 15 minutes of the movie, then he just kind of moves on.
Well, he's angry and angsty, angsty, but...
But then he just kind of settles in and just kind of hangs around the film.
Yeah, he goes to work with his dad,
fucks it and has to screw around the stupid bullies. And,
he's sympathetic because of the bullies.
But then, as we said, the first scene of the film ends up kind of not bearing on the next hour of the movie.
Good acting on the dog's part again. There just hasn't been a progression of emotional investment.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing if we don't care about the characters.
Right.
It's another if the characters don't care about anything.
Right.
And in this case, we have both.
Yeah.
The upside down cross is kind of a nice touch. But again, this is almost an homage to, again, that first one and the
Yeah.
The Crandall house
Judd's house, yeah.
Being kind of a...
Yeah.
It's just so lacking.
Right. There's not a narrative drive. Nothing feels overall cohesive. And when they make all these big turns towards into this third act, it just feels like you haven't built to this point to make it feel like it's paying off what you've have characters go through, because they haven't gone through anything.
And all of the subtle references to the first movie are much like they do in the Saw franchise, where you're like going along and nothing is happening, and then then they're like, oh, let's just give a little... Right. Let's mention a previous movie and then make the audience go, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, like that new Halloween film we covered. It's like, okay, let's throw in all the references to every single other film in the franchise. Like, okay, well... To
make you forget that this one isn't good?
Right. All the other cute little ideas that you kind of geek out about, it's like, okay, well, where's that for your own sake? What other film is going to reference your movie over the first film?
None.
None whatsoever.
A resounding none. Now, wouldn't that kill him again?
I don't know.
Because using logic from the first one that they seem to reference every 10 minutes.
And forget about right afterwards.
Lewis was able to re-kill all of the things that had previously died. Judd Crandall killed his dog again.
Right.
They re-killed Timmy Baterman.
Right. They burned him up.
Right. So Gus better be fucking dead right now. And now here's the babysitter, who is apparently also obsessed with the dead mom. And I feel like, aside from that first scene with the mover boxes...
there hasn't been any follow-up to that idea.
No, none. And all of a sudden, the mom is back?
Right.
Like, this would have been a good midpoint.
Yeah.
45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Everything is too late in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about like all this stuff is like, okay, Furlong's character doesn't even know that his friend has now been killed on the side of a road because of Gus. There's no reference to that. There's no resonance for actions that happen.
Right. Yeah, because when Anthony Edwards was watching the news, the nanny says, "How is he doing?" And he says, "I haven't talked to him."
Yeah.
Okay.
All you saw was that the motorbike for the bully was found on the side of the highway, and that was all the information he found.
Ugh. And you know how much I can't stand dramatic irony. here we kind of have... Thankfully, there was only a few minutes of it.
Yeah.
As opposed to... It would have been really terrible had Furlong been trying to convince Anthony Edwards the entire time that this was possible, and he just didn't believe it. Mm-hmm. And the audience knows that it is possible, and we're waiting for him to find out.
Right.
God, I hate that. I think this was, slightly more tastefully done, that it was only a little bit ago that he said we could have that with Mom.
Right.
But again, this storyline should have been
materialized in the last 10 minutes.
Right. This should have been the storyline.
Right.
Or not a storyline at all.
Right.
But I feel like there was much more emotional investment on this part of the story than there was on the other one that they gave 3/4 of the movie to.
Right. I mean, that's what we set up from the beginning of the film. You think that's where the story is going to wrap itself around, and it's barely present.
I mean,
the first 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes, like the first and last 10 or 15 minutes of the film.
And what's the point of bringing the bully back?
Just so you can have a climax of some kind?
Why couldn't the climax be the mom killing Edward Furlong?
Something.
Like him realizing that it wasn't...
Right.
There have been no consequences at this point for Edward Furlong.
Exactly.
There really haven't been
The mother's pretty much back. I mean, yeah, there were little subtle things, but she's not doing anything.
I mean, and even the kid, the other kid, what's his name? Drew?
Drew.
There really weren't consequences to him.
Not until he was dead.
Right.
So there's nothing for
Which was 19 or 20 scenes after Gus came back.
Right.
It wasn't even immediate.
Right. And by the time there's a consequence, the character's dead, and there's nothing for the character to grapple with. So there's no drama left.
Right, because it's over.
Right.
I mean, even if Furlong would have been excited that the bully was dead, and then upset that it's come back.
Yeah.
Like, so far, this moment, at an hour and a half in, is the first consequence that Furlong's had to face.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even somebody that he buried.
Right.
I mean...
I can't even verify that Furlong's character even was aware that the bully had been murdered. Because...
No, he wasn't there.
No, he took off and ran off.
You're right. He didn't even know that he was dead.
Right.
Let alone dead and buried and resurrected.
Right.
And then he somehow found his way to this kid's attic.
Right. This film almost like, in certain areas, wants to pay things off, but doesn't want to take the time to set it up. They want the gratification, but not the effort to put it into.
All ends and no means.
Right. Right.
And all of a sudden, he realizes that he needs to get out. Like,
right.
That it's a bad idea.
Right. Again, from the beginning of the film, it's like it's all rapid. Everything just gets set up in a rapid succession. You don't take any time for anything to breathe, to really kind of have it settle in. And just like, boom, 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 boom. Everything just hits. Just to move it forward. Nope. There's no time spent with anything. With any of the ideas, with any of the...
Yeah, it's been literally 10 minutes.
Ramifications. It's just like everything...
He was just hugging Mom on the bed 10 minutes ago.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he just... That's it. She can die now.
It's either the film sits around and does basically nothing with its characters, or it just jumps right into the end game of every idea that it has right away. So it's like... In a way, it feels like a cheap gratification type of horror movie. Where it's like, it's not suspense, it's not tension, there's not like an atmosphere or anything like that. It's just like
a sequel for sequel's sake.
Right. I think it almost feels like it thinks like, okay, once we show something to you and it kind of seems like it's exciting, everything else will just not matter. And it's basically just a screenplay issue.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And now they're going to leave town?
Just like that.
I mean, what?
Yeah, just like, this doesn't feel like there's consequence. Like, oh, okay, well, just burned everything down, we'll just pack up and leave town, and okay, whatever. No one grapples with anything in film.
I mean, one of the things that is so great about the first film is that the end result is that nothing worked.
Right.
And everyone died.
Right.
Despite your best efforts.
Every choice was the wrong choice to make.
Right.
Because it all stemmed from your grief and your inability to move on from the situation.
And make rational decisions.
Right.
Yeah. And this had none of that.
Right.
Like, none.
No.
So, yeah, not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
It's not even like one of those films like they. I mean, obviously they were hungry to get a sequel out, but this is like 2.5 years after the first one comes out, so it's like they had time to develop an idea. I don't know how soon they greenlit things, but I imagine they probably were entertaining ideas to move forward on things pretty early on. But
unless Mary Lambert was
busy doing something else,
or fighting with the studio about the direction of the movie.
Right.
Which is possible.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like you said, I don't know the timeline.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no underlying theme to this movie.
Exactly the point. The first one was rich with themes. This one just doesn't have anything to connect the scenes with.
You know, in some ways, and I've often said that Stephen King is the greatest creator of character maybe ever.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe that there's a little bit because he wrote the screenplay for the movie,
right.
But it's pretty close to the books, or to the book rather. And you know, he wrote very specific, rich, deep characters,
right,
as he always does.
Right.
He didn't write these characters.
No,
these characters are so two-dimensional.
Right. I mean, the credits for the screenwriter, he's got 6 credits altogether. I was reading on Wikipedia, he had like uncredited rewrite on like Gremlins 2. He worked on an unproduced sequel of Goonies, and he has like Journey to the Mysterious Island.
Oh, God.
A story credit, and he wrote an episode of Briscoe County Jr. and Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland. This is not the caliber of the writer you had.
Wait, he wrote Little Nemo?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Really?
I mean, just like, it's so disproportionate in the depth of quality of a screenwriter you get. And the fact that the guy was like endorsed by Spielberg is like, I want like you on this. I want you to work on a Goonies sequel that never ends up happening. So,
thank God.
Nah, it's just weird. It's like it just again, it's all screenplay for me. If the screenplay is better written, I think you get a lot of better characters out of this and a lot better performances for the most part.
Yeah, I mean,
because I think it doesn't look as good as the first film, but it has a similar look. The production design looks very similar, so I don't think there's much of a fall off in that. It's just like the screenplay doesn't lend itself to the same type of film the first film was.
Right, and there's lots of layers to the problems.
Yes.
If we're recapping,
right.
It's too many references to the first movie.
Right.
It's not developing characters. It's pick a lane with your story. Which story are you following?
Right.
How about you give some themes and depth and underlying something to the overall tone. It's very first drafty.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. But we are going to revisit the 2019
remake.
Was it 19?
The film.
Yeah, I guess it was 2019 remake.
Year.
Okay.
So
we're going to revisit
we'll be
that
hitting up the remake, guys. We'll be talking. It's a lot more in depth to get into that. It's a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Dissection.
Yeah, I think that will be an interesting discussion.
Yes. So, but we'll see where that falls in the schedule shortly. But thanks, guys, for joining us. I know there's a lot of people who like this as almost a B movie cult classic of sorts. So.
Yeah, standalone. Throw it in fodder kind of situation. So, sure.
Do appreciate you guys throwing a discussion and what you feel about it and stuff like that. So
fun times.
So thanks so much, guys, and
see you next time.
Bye.